You guys, it's finally here. Huge fight announcement. It is April 25th, 2025. Rebellis de Spain versus John Jones is happening at International Fight Week, covering the main event for Dricus du Plessis. I can't wait for it, you guys. No, not really. Do you think that out of 8 billion people who are currently drawing breath on this planet, there is a single soul who wants to see this fight or is genuinely petitioning for this? I really hope not. This is a joke. This is a joke. But we did get some really good fights announced. I'm going to talk about all of them. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to Burt MMA on Instagram. He is my plug as far as fight and fighter news is concerned. So everyone go and follow him on Instagram. If you care about being informed on things happening as soon as they happen, he is with it. We got Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway 3 announced for UFC 318. And this is UFC 5 smoke. If you've played that game and you fought in lightweight online, you've done this matchup several times. If you lock in either of these characters, most of the time the guy that you're playing against on online multiplayer is going to just run to the other guy that is match made here. This is a great fight every single time that it happens. But Dustin has beaten Max twice. So Max Holloway winning is the only real progressive outcome of this fight. Dustin leaving the UFC with 3 wins over the same fighter doesn't really mean much to me. The Gaethje trilogy would have probably been more interesting, but they weren't very interested in it, and I don't really want to see them fight unless it's going to be like the first two. This is still going to be an amazing fight. We're going to love it. It's not like we're compromising anything. Something that will change things now is that Max is a true 155er. He's no longer cutting down to 145, or at least he says. Looks to be larger, moves better at 155. Maybe it's just the Gaethje matchup. He was always meant to win that fight no matter what shape he came in just because of his style, but he looks to be much improved and more powerful, at least at 155, in his new form as he's training and getting heavier so that the cut makes more sense for him. This is going to be a good fight. Even as this is his retirement fight, Dustin Poirier always looks very sharp, so Max Holloway is going to have his work cut out for him. Everyone kind of wants to see Dustin Poirier and on a high note. It won't really leave Max with much to do afterwards if he's just going to retire. I'll definitely need to think about how I think this fight goes, but an early prediction, I'd say Dustin Poirier, though, just because it'd be nice to see him have a nice send-off since he never got to touch the belt. At least let him get a good retirement, you know. So we're going to talk about the next fight that was made. Joaquin Buckley versus Kamaru Usman. This is a certified hood classic. Bro, this fight is happening in Atlanta. This entire event is about to go triple platinum. They just need to put good fighters on the undercard. Even if they don't, this fight is going to be magnificent no matter where it's held. Usman is going to get taxed by Buckley, and I don't see this being a close fight at all. I think that Buckley is going to landslide the version of Usman that we've been seeing on these podcasts and stuff. For fans of Buckley, this is going to be like 2 hands in the air, we're cheering in front of our LED screens. But for Usman fans, they're going to be grieving over this. Buckley may very well retire Kamaru Usman in this fight. Who stops Joaquin Buckley? I need a full dissertation from anyone who believes that Kamaru Usman does well in this fight as to how he dismantles Buckley and how he is not at equal standing with these guys that we've once considered GSP level. A lot of people thought that Kamaru Usman was at least GSP level and could beat GSP. Now we just casually have a bunch of welterweights running around who can tax these guys. And they're out of their primes, sure, but that's even more of a reason why I'm going to side with Buckley to win this fight. At this point, Buckley may even be a better wrestler than Kamaru Usman, and that needs to be tested, and we're going to see it. So June 14th, UFC Atlanta main event. I'm going to side with Joaquin Buckley. Great fight that got announced. I'm very excited for this one. Who stops Buckley? Maybe Carlos Prates, and that's a reason why I'm going to be paying very close attention to the main event tomorrow night, happening in Kansas City, because if Carlos Prates knocks out Ian Gary, the path for Buckley probably looks like Usman, then JDM or Bilal, depending on who wins that fight. If he wins, though, Carlos Prates will be right there to challenge for the belt, and I can see that fight being one of, no exaggeration, one of the best fights I've ever seen. The last fight that we're going to discuss is going to be no, he's not Rafael, he's a Rafael. In a world full of Rafaels, Fiziev is the only Rafael. It's kind of funny that I never know whether to pronounce the R as an R or an H whenever I'm talking about him, because I'm just so conditioned to seeing the R and just pronouncing it as an H. whenever it does appear. But anyways, Fiziev is in real danger here against Ignacio Bahamondes. I just made a list of the most powerful strikers in the weight class. Ignacio Bahamondes was on this list. Fiziev is known by me at least, and other people that I've talked to in the sport, for not having a crazy amount of power on him. There's not a lot of sting on his shots. He's a good point fighter, but he likes to stand in the pocket with his exchanges like he does have power, and he usually gets beat up and wears a lot of damage for the fact that his style is this way. Ignacio Bahamondes fights like he's been uber charged by the medic, and wrestling may work for Fiziev to get takedowns, but he's demonstrated, Bahamondes, that his jiu-jitsu is very good. If Fiziev isn't getting subbed down there after he gets a takedown, he's not going to be able to just control Ignacio on the ground. This could be a test of Ignacio Bahamondes' chin, because Rafael Fiziev is a very tricky striker to read, and his setups are very good, and he's good at landing flush on the people that he fights. It's just there's not a lot of pop on his shots, and so whenever he's fighting a Dustin who has a granite chin, he's not going to do much to him. If Ignacio Bahamondes doesn't take damage as well as Gaethje, which he probably doesn't, this may be an interesting fight, because those setups leading to the big strikes that will land at the end of the setups will be there for Fiziev. It's about 60-40 Bahamondes going into this for me. I think he has more weapons and he's more powerful. I think that's a great equalizer, that he packs more power into all the shots that he throws. June 21st for this one. We got 318 announced before 317. I still want to know what's going on with Poirier and Makhachev. We got Chael Sonnen pretty much confirming it on his YouTube channel. If it doesn't happen, we need to put him in a medieval torture device and send him down the river in it. Where's the movement towards us getting a new main event announced for 317? I get that they're trying to make it this big suspenseful build-up, but being in the dark about that still doesn't feel very good. But I'm very happy with the fights that we got announced today. These 3 fights are going to be great additions to the cards that they're part of. So it's really about time. We needed some good fight announcements, because we've been just getting a bunch of stink lately, and main events that haven't been delivering by and large. So hopefully we can produce some good results from these events. I feel like this is a lot of fan service going on, even though the welterweight match does have title implications. The other 2 are good announcements, but they're more fun fights than anything else. So I'm going to enjoy watching them. Those are going to be my picks. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you made it to this point in the video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a nice day.